Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, kita dapat teruskan lecture ataupun kuliah berkenaan dengan principle of damage. So now I will discuss about the branches of the maxim of principle of damage. So there are several branches, which derive from principle of damage. So they are, the first, al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah, and then second, al-darurah tuqaddar biqadariha, and then al-darar yuzal. So for this time, I will explain only al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah and al-darurah tuqaddar biqadariha. So, al-darurah tubihu al-mahzura means necessities render the prohibited things permissible. So, according to As-Suyuti and Ibn Nujaym, this maxim is a subordinate of the maxim harm should be eliminated. However, some contemporary scholars have proposed that since necessity or darura is one of the two categories of hardship or mashaqqa, it is more appropriate to consider it as a corollary of the maxim hardship begets facility. And in an emergency situation, people are allowed to undertake the things which are typically prohibited for them as far as Islamic law is concerned. Hence, anything that has been prohibited according to the Sharia may be permissible in cases of necessity, severe need. Okey, para pelajar, apa yang perlu faham tentang al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah ialah terdapat perbezaan pendapat tentang prinsipal ini ataupun kaedah fiqhiyah berkenaan dengan al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah ni. Jadi, mengikut pendapat As-Suyuti dan Ibn Nujaym, al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah tidaklah termasuk dalam kaedah fiqhiyah principle of damage, iaitu al-darar yuzal. Dia tidak termasuk dalam principle of damage, tetapi dia termasuk dalam principle of al-masyaqqah. Principle of hardship. So because ad-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah ini ialah berkenaan dengan bagaimana manusia ataupun umat Islam boleh melakukan perkara yang diharamkan sekiranya dia berada dalam keadaan kesusahan ataupun dalam kesulitan. Itu adalah pendapat yang pertama. Kemudian pendapat yang kedua ialah al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah ialah termasuk dalam principle of al-darar. Ini kerana al-darar berlaku dalam situasi orang yang terdesak. Sebab itulah al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah dia termasuk dalam konsep al-darar. So what is the meaning of al-darurah? What is the meaning of al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah? Secara bahasanya ataupun literally, al-darurah is the plural of darurah, which is in English we call it as necessity. So according to Al-Jurjani, darurah is an occurrence that cannot be averted. It cannot be avoided. So in jurisprudential terminology, it refers to a situation in which a person fears of destruction, or extremely facing the harm. And then it is whether relates to him personally or to others, and whether his fear is a matter of certainty or an assumption based on credible evidence. And then what is the meaning of mahzurah? Mahzurah means anything or any kind of action which have prohibited by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala in Al-Quran and Hadith. And it is very synonymous with haram. So darurah in this context are special circumstances that oblige a person to undertake certain prohibited actions to preserve the above mentioned universal essential, okay, or daruriyat. So undertaking a prohibited act due to a legal excuse is subject to certain conditions and restrictions. Hence, scholars have stipulated a set of rules that govern the concept of darurah and its application to ensure that it is not exercised to satisfy one's desires, but rather to alleviate the difficulty and sustain their life in the course of seeking Allah's pleasure. Jadi harapnya pelajar dapat faham daripada perbincangan tentang maksud ad-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah ini. Jadi ad-darurah adalah bermaksud suatu keadaan yang terdesak. Okay, suatu keadaan terdesak yang tidak dapat dielakkan. Okay, dan dia adalah satu situasi di mana seseorang berada dalam satu keadaan yang sangat terdesak dan dia sangat memudaratkan 5 benda yang telah dikira sebagai daruriyat ataupun essential oleh Allah SWT, iaitu 5 benda tadi, iaitu agama, nyawa, akal, keturunan dan harta. Jadi sekiranya perkara yang 5 ini tidak terjaga, jadi kita boleh katakan individu tersebut berada dalam keadaan daruriyat. Contohnya dari sudut nyawa. Okay? Daruriyat untuk menjaga nyawa ialah apabila seseorang mempunyai hak untuk memelihara dirinya sendiri dan memelihara nyawa orang lain. Jadi apabila berlaku perkara daruriyah ataupun darurat, dan perkara darurat itu sangat besar dan boleh memberi kesulitan, kepayahan dan kecelakaan atau kebinasaan kepada dirinya dan diri orang lain ataupun masyarakat, dia boleh katakan bahawa dirinya dalam keadaan terdesak ataupun ad-darurah. Okay, ad-darurah. Jadi sekiranya seseorang berada dalam keadaan darurat, maka dibolehkan ke atasnya untuk melakukan perkara yang diharamkan oleh Allah SWT untuk menghilangkan kesulitan tersebut. Okey, untuk menghilangkan kesulitan ataupun kepayahan tersebut. Jadi apabila telah selesai ataupun telah kita penuhi tuntutan untuk menjaga 5 itu dan kesulitan itu telah pun selesai, maka kita hendaklah berbalik semula kepada obligation kita yang awal. Okay, obligation kita yang original. So, why we have to understand about al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah? Okay, why? Because it is to remove our masyaqqah, okay, to remove our needs or necessity. Okay, to remove our necessity. So, after the necessity or the masyaqqah is removed or eliminated, we have to go back to our original responsibility. Okay, so these are the guidelines. Okay, the guidelines that we have to follow. Okay, about ad-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah. So the first, the necessity must be present rather than anticipated. In example, the cause that induce fear of lives, wealth, and etc. And it is an existing experience. Okay, for instance, in the days of sailing ships, if people on the ship were to see a dark cloud headed their way, it would not make it lawful for the crew to throw passengers' property overboard to lighten the load. However, if they were in fact caught in a violent storm and there was no other way to save the ship from sinking except throwing property overboard, it would have been lawful. Jadi maksudnya, kita hendaklah pastikan bahawa kita betul-betul dalam keadaan terdesak dan kita sedang menghadapinya. Bukanlah perkara tersebut ilusi semata-mata ataupun belum pasti lagi perkara itu akan berlaku. Seterusnya, second, The period of permissibility due to the necessity depends on the continuity of the darurah. If the darurah disappears, the period of permissibility ceases. Hence, jurists stipulate another legal maxim, ma ubihu lid-darurah batalun bizawalihi. Batalun bizawalihi. Anything prohibited due to the existence of darurah will cease once it has passed. So maksudnya syarat yang kedua ialah jangka masa darurah itu berlaku, memberi penentu kepada tindakan kita yang seterusnya. Okay. Jadi pelepasan yang diberikan oleh Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala untuk melakukan perkara yang haram itu bergantung kepada keberadaan ataupun jarak masa darurah itu berlaku. Okay. So once the darurah disappears, the period of permissibility should be ended. Okay. And then condition number 3, no lawful alternative should be available to avoid the prohibited actions. If there is any legal means to ward off the harm, then the prohibited act is not allowed. So maksudnya apabila kita berada dalam keadaan terdesak yang boleh mengancam agama kita, nyawa kita, akal kita, keturunan kita, maruah kita ataupun harta kita, kita tidak ada apa-apa pilihan lain selain daripada perbuatan haram tersebut. Okay? Sekiranya kita betul-betul terdesak dan tidak ada pilihan halal yang lain, maka pada waktu itu kita terpaksa untuk menerima ataupun melakukan perkara yang diharamkan tersebut. Okay? Itu syaratnya, iaitu tidak ada alternatif lain yang disyariatkan oleh Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. And then number 4, if more than one prohibited act can be done to avoid the difficulty, the least serious prohibited act should be chosen. Maksudnya, apabila di hadapan kita ada pilihan yang haram sahaja, tidak ada pilihan halal yang lain, kita perlu memilih larangan yang paling ringan ataupun yang paling sikit kesannya kepada kita. Okay? Kita boleh relatekanlah dengan permasalahan yang berlaku dari sudut makanan halal, dari sudut perubatan, dari sudut perniagaan dan lain-lainnya. Okay. Condition number 5, an expert must certify that the prohibited act is a genuine solution to the difficulty. For example, only medical experts would be eligible to determine that a patient is suffering a level of pain that justifies the use of morphine and to determine the appropriate dosage. Syarat yang kelima ialah kita perlukan kepada pendapat daripada pakar untuk menentukan bahawa adakah itu pilihan yang tepat. Okey, adakah itu pilihan yang tepat? Maksudnya kita perlu bertanya kepada orang. Adakah betul-betul kita boleh melakukan perkara yang diharamkan tersebut? Contoh yang diberikan dalam slide ini adalah dari sudut medication. Okay, di hadapan kita ada pilihan, di mana pilihan-pilihan tersebut yang ada di hadapan kita adalah yang haram sahaja dan kita telah memilih pilihan mana yang lebih kurang serius ataupun kurang kesan dia, ataupun mungkin jumlah kuantiti yang haram itu lebih sedikit dan kita telah mendapat pengesahan daripada pihak pakar. Okay. And then condition number 6, in the context of public necessity, it is the role of the government rather than individuals to determine whether a given circumstance constitutes real necessity. And there are certain prohibited acts that can never be allowed, even in the case of dire necessity. For instance, killing a person is always prohibited because one life is inviolate as another. Such acts are never legitimized by the Sharia in any condition and circumstance. So maksudnya kat sini adalah kita perlu menilai dari sudut public juga, dari sudut public necessity. Dan ia adalah peranan daripada kerajaan untuk menentukan sesuatu. Okay, bukannya individu bebas untuk memilih pilihannya sendiri apabila ia berkait dengan public. Okay, contohnya membunuh, untuk membunuh manusia, itu adalah penyelesaian yang tidak akan berlaku dan tidak boleh dilakukan walaupun itu hanyalah pilihan yang ada. Okay, jadi diperlukan kepada pendapat daripada kerajaan sekiranya ia terlibat dengan berkait dengan masyarakat setempat. Dan ini adalah sources. Okay, so these are sources of al-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah, okay, according to Al-Quran. Okay, A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Wa ma lakum alla ta'kulu mimma dzukira smullahi alaihi wa qad fassala lakum ma harrama alaikum illa ma turirtum. Means, and why should you not eat of that over which Allah's name has been pronounced, seeing that He has so clearly spelled out to you what He has forbidden for you, unless you are compelled to do so. So in this ayah, Allah explained about the prohibition of eating any kind of meat which is pronounced the name other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you are in the situation of necessity, then we are allowed to eat that kind of meat. So another ayah is A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Innama harrama alaikumul maytata waddama wa lahmal khinzir wa ma uhilla bihi li ghairillah faman ittarra ghaira baghin wala 'adin fala ithma alayhi innallaha ghafurur rahim. Means, He has only forbidden you carry on blood, pork, and animals which name other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been invoked. But if anyone is forced to eat such things by necessity rather than transgression or excess, he commits no sin, and Allah is most forgiving and most merciful. So in this ayah, Allah said about what is the prohibited kind of food that we should not eat in our life, which is al-mayyitah. Al-mayyitah means carry on, and then ad-dam means blood, and then lahm al-khinzir is pork, and then wama uhilla bihi li ghairillah, which means the animals which during the slaughter the name of Allah is not invoked by the slaughterer. And Allah said, if anyone of us is forced to eat that kind of prohibited things, okay, by necessity, rather than transgression, maksudnya tidak ada sedikit pun dalam diri kita rasa keinginan untuk makan makanan tersebut, Allah said he commits no sin. Okay, he commits no sin. And then this is another ayah, A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل لغير الله به. And you are forbidden to eat the carrion blood, swine flesh, and any animal over which any other than Allah has been invoked. But if any is forced by hunger, okay, فمن اضطر في مخمصة غير متجانف لإثم فإن الله غفور رحيم. Okay, but if any is forced by hunger with no intention of doing wrong, Allah is most forgiving and most merciful. This is one of the example of al-darurah situation or necessity situation. Okay, it is about a woman. Okay, a woman confessed to adultery during the caliphate of Umar ibn al-Khattab. And when she was asked to explain her circumstances, she related that she was out in the desert, herding his family's camels. She ran out of the water. She ran out of water. Okay, and none of her camels was producing milk. And she asked a man herding camels on the same vicinity of water, but he refused unless she allowed him to have his way with her. She refused until she feared for her life, at which point she gave in. Okay? He had his way with her and then gave her water. Ali bin Abi Talib advised Umar that she had an excuse, and he quoted the verse, "But whoever is forced by necessity, neither desiring it nor transgressing its limit, it is no sin for him. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful." So Ali's reasoning was that the immediate threat to her life was sufficient to override the punishment for adultery. Okay. So this is the application of the principle or qa'idah fiqhiyah, ad-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah. So in this slide, okay, there are several examples. The first is a person. Okay, the person can utter words of disbelief or kufur when threatened with harm or death. Okay, and then second, blood. Okay, blood is categorized as najis in Sharia, which means it is prohibited. However, if a person's life is threatened by loss of blood and he is in need of an operation, it becomes lawful to undergo a blood transfusion. And then example number 3, a considerable amount of Sharia evidence indicates that it is prohibited to treat human corpse with disrespect, and performing an autopsy, okay, would be considered a violation of that principle. Maksud dia kat sini, contoh yang ketiga ni adalah dalam syariah, okay, dalam syariah kita tidak dibenarkan untuk menganiaya jenazah, okay, untuk melakukan apa-apa sahaja pembedahan terhadap jenazah sekiranya tidak ada apa-apa keperluan, okay. Tetapi disebabkan oleh mungkin ada perkara-perkara yang terdesak, maka dibenarkan, ya, disyariatkan ataupun dibenarkan untuk melakukan autopsi ataupun bedah siasat ke atas jenazah. Okay. And this is the application in Islamic finance. For example, a person faced life-threatening illness that requires an operation can take a conventional interest-bearing loan if there is no alternative. Okay. Dalam keadaan terdesak, dia sedang bertarung dengan nyawa yang memerlukan kepada pembedahan dan tidak ada alternatif lain untuk mendapatkan pembiayaan, maka disebabkan oleh keadaan yang terdesak, maka dia boleh untuk melakukan demikian. And then a person residing a country that does not have any Islamic banks and is facing a real threat of losing his money because of widespread of robberies in the area where he lives, so he can deposit his money in a conventional bank, okay, for the sake of protecting his wealth. And then example number 3 here is a person threatened with the loss of his livelihood unless he takes up conventional health insurance, can do so if there is no alternative. Okay, mungkin orang-orang yang dalam contoh ni dia berada dalam keadaan terdesak dan tidak berada dalam negara yang ada alternatif Islamic bank ataupun Islamic finance, ya. Okay, finish my discussion about ad-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah. Now we go to ad-darurah tuqaddar biqadariha. Ad-darurah tuqaddar biqadariha. It means necessity is to be accessed and treated proportionally. Okay, so it means this maxim clarifies the previous maxim ad-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah, which means necessity render the prohibited permissible, but it is restricted to the prohibited act as long as darurah is present. And it also affirms the significance of another maxim which states idza daqa al-amru ittasa'a wa idza ittasa'a daqa, and then it makes clear that the magnitude or volume of the necessities render the permissible of legal prohibition. So maksudnya kat sini ad-darurah tuqaddar biqadariha sangat berkait rapat dengan maxim ad-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah. Okay, jadi dia berlaku setelah berlakunya ad-darurah tubihu al-mahzurah. Okey, dan dia sangat berkait rapat dengan prinsipal ataupun maxim idza daqa al-amru ittasa'a wa idza ittasa'a al-amru daqa. Okey, maksudnya kita melakukan perkara yang terlarang tersebut adalah berdasarkan kepada keperluan sahaja, sekadarnya sahaja. Okey, apabila telah selesai ataupun hilangnya kesulitan, maka kita hendaklah berhenti. Okey, berhenti daripada melakukan perkara tersebut. So, the unlawful act should not be extended beyond its bound. Rather than the necessity that can override, a prohibition should be given weight according to its true extent. And the forbidden act is deemed permissible only at the minimum level it takes to remove the necessity. And then permission of the prohibited act is temporary and ends when the necessity that first justified is ends. Okay? Jadi itulah maksud dia. Maksud ad-daruratu qaddar bi qadariha adalah keadaan terdesak itu hendaklah dinilai berdasarkan kepada wujudnya kesusahan. Wujudnya kesusahan ataupun masyaqqah. Apabila hilangnya masyaqqah, maka berakhirlah permissibility tersebut. Okay. So this is the application. Okay, the application of this maxim, ad-daruratu qaddar bi qadariha. The first is, if a doctor needs to see a patient's aurah for the purpose of giving necessary medical treatment, the permissibility is restricted only to the part of the aurah that requires treatment. Okay, and then second, in case a person is forced to tell a lie under oath because otherwise he will be killed, so he is allowed to do so as long as it does not cause another person's death. And then number 3, a person who is compelled to consume carrion can do so only for the sake of the alleviating the hunger to sustain his life. Okay, and he is not allowed to consume more of it that is required to keep him alive. Okay, these are another applications of Islamic finance. Applications of ad-daruratu qaddar bi qadariha in Islamic finance. So the first is, if an Islamic bank is on the verge of collapse due to the liquidity shortage, it is allowed to borrow from a conventional bank if no Sharia compliant source of funds is available. And then example number 2, when a judge determines that it is necessary to sell a debtor's asset to repay his creditors, only as much of his assets is required to repay his debt may be sold, because the basic rule is that his property is off limits to others except with his freely given consent. Okay, so there are another 3 examples here, so I hope you can read by yourself. And this is a third legal maxim, which is ad-darar yuzal, and I have explained about ad-darar yuzal in my previous lecture. So that's all for this time. I will continue my lecture on part 3, okay, after this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.